Okay, so we are going to make some folders today. The first thing that we need is for one person from each table to go and grab 18 by 24 paper for each person at your table. That's in our top drawer over at our paper station. That's our largest size paper here. I'm going to need one person to grab a ruler for each person at their table, and that is going to be over at our supply shelf. And you will also need a pencil, and each table should have a tape dispenser. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is fold our paper in half so it's fat like a hamburger. So what I'm gonna do, so you can see it's fat, not the skinny way, not like a hot dog, okay? Fat like a hamburger. And what I'm gonna do is line up my two corners, both ends, and then once I think it's lined up really good, I'm gonna hold that down with my arm and push out towards my bumpy edge here. Okay, go over that with my finger just to crease it real nice. And then you're gonna open it back up so it's like a book with that fold line right down the middle. The next thing I'm going to do is measure. And if we take a look at our ruler, we want to make sure that we are on the inch side. So this says cm right here for centimeters. I need to make sure that I find inch, and it's going to be next to your 0 somewhere along that edge. You can say I'm on the inch side. Now this ruler starts at the 0. It does not start at the edge of the ruler. So that's important to always look at your ruler first to know how you're measuring from the ruler. Some do start on the edge. This one starts at that line for the 0. I'm going to line that line up with the bottom edge of my paper. I'm going to go ahead and work right in my center here. And that 0 is going to be on that very bottom edge. And I'm going to just make some measuring marks here. So I'm going to come up to the 8 inch. That's the line right next to the 8. And I'm going to extend that line out from my 8 inch mark. Hopefully you guys can see that. 8 inches, extend that out. I'm going to do that 3 times. So I'm going to move my ruler all the way to the right, and I'm going to line up my 0 down here once again. And I'm going to go over to my 8 inch mark, make a little dash. Same thing on the left. A 0, line that up, make a mark at my 8 inches. Okay, so I have 3 marks running across my page when I'm done. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is take the bottom edge of my folder here, and I'm folding it up until I hit those little marks that we just made. Can you see those marks there? There's one there, there's one there, and one over here. And that should make a nice even fold to make some pockets for our folder here. Okay, I'm going to fold that back together and just re-crease everything to make sure it's going to lay flat. And then open it back up. And I'm going to do my sides next. So these long sides here, right now I can keep my papers in my pocket, but they would fall out of the side. So I'm going to come back. If you really like to measure, this would be about 1 inch that you would measure from the side. But I'm going to show you an easy way to just guesstimate this. So this could be from the 0 to the 1 inch if you really want to measure. Sometimes it's even almost 1.5 inches, which is also fine. This does not need to be a perfect measurement. The thickness of this should end up being about the thickness of your pointer finger. So that's a good way to tell, is just take that amount of paper and kind of fold it over, okay? So I'm going to just pinch along this edge. don't try to just fold this right away because this paper is thicker. It's not going to want to make this skinny, tiny fold. And if you try to go too thin, it really won't work. So don't worry about it if it's a little bit thicker. Don't go thinner than this. And I'm going to do both sides. So flip it over. Again, I'm just pulling this up. And again, it's about the thickness of my finger. And then crease that. Okay, so now we have our folder with pockets. It's going to catch on our sides, but we do want to keep this in place. So we are going to add some tape. However, you are only taping over the pocket itself. So from this point here to this point here is the only place that you should have tape. Do not tape your top edge at all. We actually want this to stay open to catch our papers. So I'm just going to tape this spot here. Take some of my tape and run it along this line here. If you don't quite go all the way down to the bottom, you can add a second piece of tape. That's fine. If you feel like, oh, that's not quite reaching it and you want to add a little bit more, that's fine. But don't run multiple pieces along that edge. We don't have enough tape for that, okay? You're going to do the other side as well. And then close your folder up, recrease everything one more time, and we are ready to get this labeled. Now, I do want you to use our thin markers to write your name across the bottom edge. So just down here at the very bottom, first and last name, and the period of your class, okay? So first and last name, and then your period. After that, we can decorate these how you want to. We are going to be doing our name across here. I do prefer just first names. If you really want to do your last name as well, you can. And then we are decorating these with at least 3 items that tell me something about you. Okay, so your name written in a creative way, and then at least 3 items that tell me something about you. Okay, start with pencil, and then we can add marker and colored pencil from there. Have fun.